We're outside of Morgan Hill, and this is an old schoolhouse from 1895 called the Machado School. It's used now for community events. I like the way the light and shadow is playing on the stairway. I'll start on watercolor paper using a pencil to lay in the windows and doors. And what's the angle of that top gable?
I think it's a right angle. Almost a right angle.
In my case, it's a wrong angle. This is a small set of transparent watercolors. The list of colors is in the description. I'm using a large flat brush to lay down a light, warm color across the whole surface. I want even the brightest whites to be modified by this yellowed color, almost like an old photograph that's been in the sun too long. And I think I might just try shifting the colors of the light and the shadow to make kind of an interesting statement. Really group the lights and group the shadows. This is the edge of the cast shadow from the gable end coming up over the window detail. Now normally I would paint that bottom edge of that cast shadow a little bluer because it's catching the blue of the sky. But I don't really care about what it actually looks like. I'm thinking more about interpreting this as if it were an old photo. And I'm thinking about how this school must have looked in its heyday when kids were going in and out that door. When this school closed in 1967, I was in 4th grade at a school about 40 miles from here. It wasn't a one-room schoolhouse. It was a suburban school where each grade had its own classroom. I think I would have liked being around older kids and seeing what they were doing. When I was 10 years old, I had a teacher who really emphasized penmanship. But the drawing and painting I learned on my own. I looked for old books on art and drawing techniques, and that's where I found my teachers. Using a dry brush here to get the texture of the gravel. And then going in with a pencil to draw the individual clapboards. The chipped paint I can suggest with a colored pencil, just lightly rubbing it on there, and then I can hit it with some water to turn that into something that's more like dots of brown paint. Now I've painted the gray-green color of the painted railings and framing around the doors and windows, but now I can paint in the cast shadows, which is the shadow that's cast away from the forms by the sunlight, and also the darks inside the windows. I have to paint around those light areas. I could, in theory, come back and do those in gouache, but I'm going to try to do this more or less in transparent watercolor. And then I can paint in the shadow side of those railings with their cast shadows. If I need to, I can use a little bit of gouache on the top of these railings. And here's the final painting. Okay, thanks for watching. You might want to check out my website or subscribe to my channel. And then here's a playlist with more good stuff and a video that continues the story. So check them out and share with your friends.